Hi there, it's Ron Gula from Gula Tech Adventures, and today we're going to talk about how you can avoid missing out on cybersecurity. Now, I started my career in the NSA, used to run Tenable Network Security, and now we run Gula Tech Adventures, which has a great deal of cybersecurity investment and policy work and just getting people into our great industry. And I did a video a couple months ago about how high schoolers could get into cybersecurity, and I pretty much wrote the whole thing with ChatGPT and the artwork and whatnot. And I had a lot of people ask me, well, hey, how can I get it? And how can I as a practitioner? So of course, went back to ChatGPT and asked ChatGPT, how can someone stay up to date with cybersecurity trends and technology policy and threats? And it came up with a whole bunch of things, 1 through 9. Now, these are all great things, but we're not going to go through each one of these things, because what I wanted to do is I wanted to take a take on this as a professional, right? The high schooler thing was focused on high schoolers, but how can you as a professional in your organization, what are some strategies that you can use to stay up on cybersecurity while you do your day job, while you actually have to do your job? And this is the biggest thing I talk to professionals about, is they're just overwhelmed. Not only do they have a fear of missing out, but they don't know what they should do to get to that next level, whether in their career technically or professionally, in their org chart and whatnot. So here are some strategies that you can use to prioritize. If you're spending time learning more about cybersecurity, what can you do? So the first thing you have to do is you have to know your business. You're there protecting your business. What technology do you have in use? If you don't know what technology you're protecting, you don't know what technology you should be learning about. And this is more than just, hey, are we migrating to the cloud? What is your ERP system? What does your HR team use? How do you actually make the products you make, right? What are the threats and attacks your specific company takes? Are you subject to nation state denial of service attacks? That might be something you might want to prioritize over PCI if you're not in the payment card industry, for example. How do you code and use AI in your organization? I don't care what kind of vendor you work for or organization you work with. Somebody probably writes code. Those people are probably thinking about adding AI into that. You need to learn about that and what they're doing so you can give them relevant advice to protect that data. And finally, what kind of compliance and regulations does your organization go with? And what is more likely to get regulated, either by certification in your particular vertical, or is the federal government and your state and local government going to pass laws that affect your cybersecurity over? This should all be prioritized for things that you're learning next if you can't do that. Now, similarly, for your business, your supply chain is going through a very, very similar type of transformation. Where is the code that you're buying from? Where does it come from? How do those people use AI and data? Are there geopolitical issues you need to worry about? Does your data come from China? Does your data come from Ukraine? Does your data come from a place that, might be in the news? And when you could just substitute for data for AI for that matter. Does your industry have compliance and regulations different from your company, right? Maybe you're buying different types of technology to put into whatever you're making. And some of that technology is coming from places that might have a great deal of regulatory risk in the near future. And then finally, are there hacks in the industry that are different than hacks for your organization? These are all ways you can prioritize what you need to learn to get yourself to that next level and actually be aware as well. Now, another thing, a strategy you can do, this kind of depends where you're at in the organization, but a lot of organizations that we've worked with here at Gula Tech Adventures use Cybrary as a training mechanism for their cyber workforce. Now, one of the things, Cybrary has this immense amount of training courses in many, many different topics, but it has that problem of where do you start? Maybe somebody at your organization has already thought about this and they have curriculum, things that they want the entire cyber workforce to be certified on, aware of. Could be specific vendors, could be certain techniques. Another thing you could do is you could actually go to your security team, your red and blue teams, and actually see what kind of attacks you're having, and then use those sources of attacks as a list of what you should be worried about and what you should be self-aware about. So, for example, we're recording this in May of 23. We just had the paper cut exploits going on. And I think a lot of people were surprised that this kind of technology is internet facing and something in use by a lot of businesses, which gets back to my first point. You need to know your business in order to protect it. But The bottom line is no matter what you're learning, you might go from how do I spend time to do this? Your measure of knowing what you know should be to educate others. So whatever you're learning here, if you can then teach the other people in your organization, that should be your ultimate goal for learning and having this sort of self-aware, self-driven, basically roadmap for things you need to learn. Until you start teaching others, I'm going to claim you never get there. A lot of times people hey, I got certified, I got my degree, and that's great. That shows you've accomplished something. As soon as you start moving into more of a leadership position where you're educating other people and helping them shape their vision, you've then kind of gone up that food chain a little bit. And you're actually, not only are you more relevant to your business, you're probably going to be more relevant to the cyber industry as a whole. So that altogether should be a way for you to prioritize that. Now, I didn't just give you like 20 extra hours in your week. I understand that if you're a professional and you have to learn on the job, so to speak, just try to take all of these different types of strategies. Don't fear like you have fear of missing out, that you've got the ability to can't do everything. I always like to say you can't ride all the rides at the same time, right? You have to prioritize and you have to learn and then teach others. All right, if you enjoyed this video, please feel free to subscribe to more here at the Gula.tech YouTube channel. Come see us on LinkedIn or visit us at the Gula.tech website. I'm Ron Gula. Thanks for watching this video.